The hardline Iranian president, Ebrahim Raisi, has died in a helicopter crash in foggy weather in the mountains near the border with Azerbaijan. The charred wreckage of the aircraft, which crashed on Sunday carrying Raisi, as well as the foreign minister, Hossein Amir Abdullahian, and 6 other passengers and crew, was found early on Monday after an overnight search in blizzard conditions. Fears had been growing for Raisi, a 63-year-old ultra-conservative, after contact was lost with the helicopter on Sunday as it navigated fog-covered mountains in northwest Iran. The country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who holds ultimate power with a final say on foreign policy and Iran's nuclear program, said the country's first vice president, Mohammad Mokber, would take over as interim president. The deputy foreign minister, Ali Bagheri Khani, was appointed as acting foreign minister. I announce 5 days of public mourning and offer my condolences to the dear people of Iran, Khamenei said. Mokber, like Raisi, is seen as close to Khamenei. Under Iran's constitution, a new presidential election must be held within 50 days. Iranian state media blamed bad weather for the crash and said it was complicating rescue efforts. Raisi's convoy had included 3 helicopters, and the other 2 had reached their destination safely, Tasnim news agency reported. The incident happened near Jolfa, a city on the border with Azerbaijan, about 375 miles 600 kilometers northwest of the Iranian capital, Tehran. The president had been traveling in Iran's East Azerbaijan province. The state-run IRNA news agency broadcast footage of an Iranian Red Crescent team walking up a slope in thick fog, as well as live footage of crowds of worshippers reciting prayers in the holy shrine of Imam Reza in the city of Mashhad, Raisi's hometown. More than 70 rescue teams using search dogs and drones were sent to the site, the Red Crescent said, and the Chief of Staff of Iran's army ordered all the resources of the army and the elite Revolutionary Guards to be deployed. Raisi had been in Azerbaijan early on Sunday to inaugurate a dam with the country's president, Ilham Aliyev. The dam is the third that the 2 nations have built on the Aras River. The visit came despite chilly relations between the 2 nations, including over a gun attack on Azerbaijan's embassy in Tehran in 2023, and Azerbaijan's diplomatic relations with Israel, which Iran's Shia theocracy views as its main enemy in the region. Iran owns a number of helicopters, but international sanctions make it difficult to obtain parts for them. Most of its military air fleet predates the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Countries in the region sent their well wishes and offers of support, including Iraq and Qatar, but also Saudi Arabia, which has long been a regional foe. The Saudi Foreign Ministry was following reports about the crash with great concern, the country's state news agency reported. The U.S. President, Joe Biden, had been briefed on the crash, an American official said on condition of anonymity. The Turkish president said he was saddened to hear of the crash. I convey my best wishes to our neighbor, friend, and brother Iranian people and government, and I hope to receive good news from Mr. Raisi and his delegation as soon as possible, Recep Tayyip Erdogan said in a post on the social media platform X. The EU offered emergency satellite mapping technology to help Iran with the search, while a spokesperson for State Department of the U.S., an adversary of Iran, said, "We are closely following reports of a possible hard landing of a helicopter in Iran carrying the Iranian president and foreign minister." The Iran-backed militant group Hamas, fighting Israeli forces in Gaza with Tehran's support, issued a statement expressing sympathy to the Iranian people for this immense loss. Lebanon's Iran-backed Hezbollah group and the Houthi rebels in Yemen also issued statements praising Raisi and mourning his death. Raisi was a hardliner who formerly led the country's judiciary. He was viewed as a protege of Khamenei, and some analysts had suggested that he could replace the 85-year-old leader. He won Iran's 2021 presidential election, for which the turnout was the lowest in the Islamic Republic's history. Raisi was under sanctions by the US in part over his involvement in the mass execution of thousands of political prisoners in 1988 at the end of the Iran-Iraq War. Under Raisi, Iran enriched uranium at nearly weapons-grade levels and hampered international inspections. Iran has supplied arms to Russia in its war on Ukraine and launched a substantial drone and missile attack on Israel. It continues to arm proxy groups in the Middle East, such as the Houthi rebels and Hezbollah. Mass protests in the country have raged for years. The most recent involved the death in 2022 of Mahsa Amini, a woman who had been detained for allegedly not wearing a hijab to the liking of authorities. The months-long security crackdown that followed the demonstrations killed more than 500 people and more than 22,000 were detained.